Wow! How's it going, guys? You got Mac Janville.
What's up?
Me, hi.
It's Dom.
Dom.
Hi.
Hi. So this is the chord progression and bass line tutorial.
Yeah.
So today, we got two members of Pass the Sauce here. We're going to teach you how we came up with our newest song that's going to be released at some point in the future.
Very vague, but true.
So, what do you want to start with? You want to start with the chord progression?
Definitely start with, the
Okay.
chord progression.
So, like, how I usually attack chord progressions, right? I usually start with a chord or two chords that I like from a song that I like. You know, so I heard these two chords together in a song. I heard F major 7 and I heard F7 together. And I really liked how it went. I thought that was really pretty. So I kind of built the rest of the progression around that. And like, so once I have that initial idea, I usually try to take an initial idea that I take inspiration from and just go where it wants me to. So I messed around, felt different chords out in the key, but I ended up going down to B flat minor 7. So it goes like, see, that doesn't that sound nice? It sounds like we're going for like a nice surfy, like wavy feel. That's what I'm going for. Then it just felt like I wanted to go down, so I went down to a G minor, and that just sounded like a really good verse, you know. So it repeats, and the verse repeats. Down to B flat, down to G minor. And so that's the verse. That's how I started writing the verse. And then so I brought that to Mr. Mac Janville over here. Mac Janville was like, okay, what the heck do I do with this?
And I realized that it actually might sound better as an intro. Like, this is what they're going to hear at the very start of the song. And it's kind of had like the soft, like surfy kind of feel. So I wanted to keep that surfy feel. And on the bass, you're usually playing, you know, down in these lower 5 frets. But I wanted to do like a little juxtaposition, and so I start all the way up here. So I start in F, all the way up here on the 10th fret of the G string. So that's the note I start with hit Dom. So when he plays that F major 7, that's what it sounds like. So I'm like kind of accentuating that root. And then he plays an F7, so the root doesn't change, but the tonality of the chord changes. But the bass, I can't, okay, let me give an example. I'll play that F twice, just over both those chords. It sounds kind of boring, and it doesn't really add anything to it. So instead, I go to the major 3rd of the F, which is A, but an octave up. So all the way up here on the 14th fret of the G string is an A, which is the 3rd of the F chord.
So let's play it together, right?
Yep.
1, 2.
And that next part, let's stop here there. That next part, he's going up to a B flat, right? And since I'm already on A, that's just a half step up for me. And I thought, like, this movement right here, well, it sounds okay, it's kind of boring. So what I do to transition from that A to the B flat is I go a full step up from the B flat to the C, and then back down to the B flat and rest on it. And you're gonna do that a lot on the bass. You're gonna do these things called passing tones, where while the chords are saying at a more consistent pace, you're kind of adding eighth notes in here, and you're kind of adding pickups in here that have different notes that kind of add a little spice to it, you know?
That's some wisdom right there, dude.
Yeah, and then, of course, I just follow him down to that G, and on that G octave.
Yeah, and so I think that's a good segue into how to format a song that you're writing. So a song generally has a few different sections to it. It's got maybe an intro, a verse, a chorus / hook, a bridge. So an intro is usually just introducing you to the vibe. You know what an intro is. And then the verse is like, Jack, how would you describe a verse to a song?
A verse is like, you know, you kind of want to keep it lower energy than a chorus in most cases. Like a verse is usually just like kind of a more simple loop that you could put lyrics over really easily. And like our experience with songwriting, at least. So what we did with this chord progression, you could talk about, because we just wrote the intro, right?
Yeah.
What was the verse? What did we end up doing for the verse? You could talk about the chord progression, and then I can talk about what I did for the bass.
Yeah, so for the verse,
I just feel like a verse.
We really just simplified the intro, and so the intro we went down, right? I like to think about chord progressions as going up and down, because it gets the energies going, you know what I mean? So this is what I did for the intro. Went down, then went down again. But for the verse, instead of going down, play the first 2 chords again. They expect you to go down, but instead, this guitar's really bad, but I went to the G minor 7 up here, and I went back down to the C major 7, or C major, and back to the F.
So it's just 4 chords, right?
Yeah. So the verse it's pretty simple. Like writing progressions is really simple when you get down to it. It's just feeling it out and seeing where the vibe you're going for is on your fretboard.
And with the bass writing for this part, it was super simple. I literally just followed the chord tone.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just playing the root notes of those chords, but adding a little spice between. So you just want to play it together.
Sure, yeah.
Because I'm not really going to explain all the things I'm doing in between. That's kind of for you to figure out as a bassist.
Mm-hmm.
It's like following those chord tones and then deciding what you want to do in between those passing tones that I was talking about. So let's play that together.
Okay. 1, 2. Yet, but you see how that works? Verse gives you room for lyrics, and you can find your melodies over that. Beautiful. Yeah, beautiful.
I think that's a pretty good summation.
Yeah, and then we can talk about the chorus.
Well, yeah,
chorus is interesting. Jack, you're actually the main. You kind of built this chorus.
Yeah, so I can talk about the bass line that I had under that, and then kind of how we made a guitar line over that. So I'll play what I did. So I started on the G right here because I wanted to keep in because we're in F major right now.
Yes.
But I didn't want to start on the first chord because I wanted to kind of give interest, kind of make it sound like a little foreign to what we were doing in the verse. Just make it sound like its own distinct section instead of starting on the same chord. 100%. So I go up to the second of F major and I start on the G. Passing tone, then I go down to C, then passing tone, same passing tone that I used from G to C, down to A, and then I go up even further, and then on D. So it's a super simple bass chord progression. It's just G, C, A, D. But what adds interest is those passing tones and that rhythm changes that I'm doing. So C, A, D. That's a super common progression, but I kind of added those passing tones to make interest and add interest to it. It's very surfy. And now, what Dom did, we can talk about what we did this together, right?
Yeah, so this is pretty interesting, the way we took this. I think you should take this, because you're better explaining this than I.
I realized it'd be kind of boring if Dom just followed exactly the chords I was playing. So instead, I am playing the root, and he is playing the third on half of these chords, right?
Yeah, so we came up with that, and we're pretty much just alternating. I'm playing the third of whatever note he's playing, and then I switch to what note he's playing.
Yeah,
so
he's matching up with the root on me.
Builds tension, then releases tension. It builds tension, then releases tension.
Yeah.
And so it really gives the chorus a really, hype, very exciting feel to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so since we did that, I'm playing G, and he's playing E flat major.
E flat major, yeah.
I believe, yeah. So that's how it starts. And then we move on to C, and we match up on C.
Up on the C.
Then we go back to
really bad, I'm sorry.
Then we go to A. And what do you play when I'm playing A?
When he plays an A, I go to the F major 7.
Which is the third of the A I'm playing.
But it's actually the first of the key that we're in, so it sounds really cool.
Yeah. And then we match up on that D. And that is a chord progression.
Yeah.
So like Dom talked about, building chord progressions, especially when you have both a bass and a guitar, is all about tension and release. But even by yourself, if you're writing a progression on piano or guitar, you always want to think about getting back home in a satisfying way. And again, we're gonna use Jacob Collier again because he has some words of wisdom.
Inspirational man.
As long as you can find home, you can kind of go anywhere you want. You can even take it out of the key, but you always have to have that resolution, you know? So when building progressions, whether you're by yourself or with a band, always think about what interesting directions you could take it to get back home. It's like a journey to your grandma's house.